Hey, this is Brian,
And Shelby.
and you're listening to the Hyperspace.
Podblast. Aren't you a little short for a podcast?
Huh? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 12th installment of the Hyperspace Podblast.
Sup, guys?
All right, so today we will be talking about aliens in Star Wars.
Beep boop, beep boop, boop.
Not like face-hugging aliens, but alien species, like Wookiees, for example.
Yes.
I expected you to make a Wookiee sound, but you didn't do it.
I'm not that confident in my Wookiee impressions. Sorry.
That's okay. It happens.
Sorry.
Don't make fun of me. Yeah, so, Shelby, what is your favorite alien species and why?
I feel like it's hard to pick a favorite just because
That's true.
it's like apples to mutant oranges.
Apples to Cronenbergs.
Apples to Cronenbergs. Yeah. But, currently, I would say that my favorite aliens would be Rhodians.
Yeah.
Just because, yeah, it's Sibo, because, I feel sorry for him. He wishes he was brave, and he wasn't, but he still did what he thought was right.
That had to be hard, too, because, basically reprogrammed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That took some strong...
It's kind of scary, too, because it I don't know. You don't know what that's going to do to you and your personality by doing that.
Right.
You could, risk getting blue screen of death to your own brain.
Blue brain of death.
Blue brain of death.
True.
I was thinking about that. I was like, man, you're just gambling with your whole consciousness.
Yeah, I'm surprised they don't have a kill switch, honestly. He
Yeah.
escaped, just fry him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It seems like that'd be something that the Empire would have.
But-
Because Lando can do stuff with Lobot with his wrist.
But you have then you have Greedo. So it's showing that there's a vast different, personalities that they can take on.
Right. That's one of my biggest gripes with aliens in Star Wars is that you have 50 million humans, right? And half the time you have a handful of aliens. Sometimes only one.
So if you want more than one, which one would you want more than
Oh,
one of?
I want more Chagrians, which there is only one of. It's Mos Amida, Palpatine's Grand Vizier or whatever. I love the species design. Anything with horns and I'm in, basically. But I like how there's sort of like a mismatch of Deveronians and Twi'leks, because they have the spiky head horns and then they have the Liku like things with the droopy horns too. They're really rad looking. The only thing I don't like about them is they're blue. Just it feels like anytime they make a creature in Star Wars, they're like, well, should we make it? What do you think? I don't know. Color blue.
Yeah. Why do all the aliens have to be a color?
What do you want them to be clear? They have to be some color.
I guess so.
But yeah, it's like the default is blue. And every once in a while, you have Rhodians, which you like, that are green-ish flavors, but Chiss are blue, Pantorans are blue, which is kind of neat in Thrawn because they use it as I don't know, I almost feel like they're making fun of the fact that people can't tell the difference between aliens.
Well, I made that point recently to you. It's like
True.
Someone saying, oh, you're African American. It's like, just because you're black doesn't mean you're from Africa.
Right, yeah, you can easily be like Usain Bolt. He's not African American. He's Jamaican.
Yep.
To dummies.
So
silly generalizations.
I think that gets into humans thinking that everything's human-centered. They only see the big difference between them and an alien. And that in that case, it's the color blue. They don't see anything else. They can't see the minute differences. Well, to them, it's a minute difference.
Right.
But to aliens, it's huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but we're getting kind of off point here.
Delving into the deep stuff early. Yeah, Chagrians for sure. And I would like to see more, because I would like to see more of anything there's only one of. It's so, when we talk about the small galaxy syndrome with wanting, or not wanting rather, everyone to be related to everyone else somehow, but then you have, again, 50 million humans and one of this species, one of that species, one of this species. And the old EU version of why that was is oh, well, they don't really leave their planet very much. And it's okay, well, they have one ambassador from their planet that gets to leave and everybody else stays there. I wonder if he's having fun.
Well,
what do you think other planets are like?
It's almost like the college brochure thing.
Yeah, or the Abercrombie ad. Yeah,
yes.
the one of every species.
And then
The Senate ad.
it seems like a lot of the aliens, it's like, well, they're all related.
Well, yeah, I mean, they did do that with Bib Fortuna and his brother or whatever they made him that's there with Saw's crew, which I thought was mildly interesting just because they both threw in with sort of, I don't know, outlaw-y type people, but Bib's was Jabba, who was a wealthy, crime lord, and then I can't remember what his name is, something Fortuna, goes in with Saw, who is the opposite of a wealthy crime lord. A poor dude who lives inside a rock on a jank ass planet.
So if you could create your own species, what would they be like, visually, culturally, whatever?
I would do something. I really want to explore this unknown regions, that it looks like we're, that seems to be where they're pushing us. And we had this in the old EU with the Yuuzhan Vong, which I know is like a hot button topic for some people. But personally, I loved the Vong. I thought it was a great addition to Star Wars because it was very not Star Wars. But I mean, we needed that. You can't keep bringing the Emperor back and cloning Luke, or this is some old Sith that were living on this planet mysteriously. Hey, they're back now. It's Jedi versus Sith again, everybody. It's Star Wars. This is what you want, right? So it was way outside the box, and I thought it was really cool. What I would like something from the unknown regions that's different. I don't even know. Almost not humanoid. Maybe something that's really, I don't know.
Well,
this is terrible.
Whenever I think of like Outer Rim stuff and even beyond that, I almost think of it being, I don't know, almost going backwards in evolutionary steps, or like, you would get more towards like the dinosaurs or something like that. So like even more primitive creatures. But
yes, yeah, but that's not what I want. I want something that's like, well, for example, they've introduced, I think it was in the Force Awakens visual dictionary, they had the planets and they had Rakata Prime on there. And that's from, the ancient species that were built all this technological stuff and then vanished, kind of like, the Mayans sort of, where maybe their technology took them out type thing.
Oh, I see that they've developed themselves to the point.
Yeah. They created their own extinction event type thing. But
I think that we're going to find stuff that is, I think you're right, though. I think maybe what I'm thinking of is what the Empire views as the Outer Rim, but
yeah,
in
I think
reality,
that's
in reality, it's, and I guess this is what I probably would enjoy seeing more, is to see these people that have all their own stuff going on, like that doesn't care, does not, give a crap about what's going on.
Well, yeah, I mean, someone like the Chiss, honestly, that they have their own stuff figured out. They're basically on par with anyone in the Empire, Republic, etc. It's kind of putting our own human biases on things. Like we think, there's really nothing. People think they're aliens and stuff, but most people are like, yeah, we're the intelligent life. If there's other life, it's going to be these like bacteria or something. You know what I mean?
Which, I mean, in a way, people kind of viewed people on the other side of the world that way when they first discovered it.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's just, I think it's our part of the human condition.
Anything further away from us can't have possibly...
Right, like we are the center of everything that is smart and technological and etc.
So going on what you said about, humanoid stuff, what do you think, how do you think you classify something as an alien species versus a creature, and then maybe even versus a droid?
Yeah, see, that's a tough one, because especially, we'll start with the droid thing. You have, obviously, droids are created to be like tools, essentially, but then they have this artificial intelligence that makes them essentially, sentient species, really.
Because think about it. Ask any Star Wars fan, do you think that R2 has a personality?
Right, exactly. I mean, do you think it's completely programmed?
K2, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, he's...
and honestly, C-3PO, no. I think he's probably the closest to his programming.
Yeah, with the etiquette and protocol. Yeah. But yeah, it's hard to say that they don't. I mean, they're basically characterized as being... They
have a character. I mean, they're not just...
It's not like
a ship.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. It's a piece of technology just like a ship or, a blaster or whatever, but it's a character as much as anything else. And then you have the whole idea of creatures, which, are near and dear to my heart, but obviously that's a whole thing we get into here as well. Like, you can teach different creatures like sign language. You can teach them to talk. Like, what makes something sentient? That's the real question.
Yeah, is it their ability to communicate with you?
Yeah, like
how do you truly know? Because say you think about some other droids, like I'm trying to think of droids that don't talk. Like, they're not meant to talk with you. Maybe you wouldn't say they have a personality.
No, like a mouse droid,
like a
or
mouse
like
droid,
a gonk droid.
Technically, R2 isn't built to talk. He just like makes noises and.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's he doesn't have a vocabulator. There's a language
he
there.
Speaks. He speaks to.
It's just not.
So maybe it's the ability to express one's sentience.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because even if you
have to be able to prove it.
There's so many creatures that can, even dogs, you can teach them to do so much stuff. There's definitely things going on up there, but they can't tell you, hey, I gotta go pee, bro. Open the door.
Yeah. Why is it our?
They kind of can, but they can't say it in a way we really understand.
How do humans determine whether they're speaking another language that they don't understand or just making sounds?
Yeah, and they kind of touched on this in the Clone Wars with the Talls. There was like I think it was a moon of the Pantorans, where they didn't think of them as being, equals, and then the Jedi come in and are like, you guys are jerks, basically. I think that's how it went. It's been a while since I saw it. People are probably like, this guy's dumb. He doesn't even like Star Wars. But anyway, close example.
Turn in your fan card, Brian.
No, I'm sorry, everybody.
It's okay.
Sit in the Star Wars dunce corner for an hour later.
I'm usually there. It's cool.
I'll just push you over. Yeah, it's my turn.
So other than sentience, like, is it like human shape and form?
No, absolutely not. That's what I was trying to get to. I'm going to go with probably 99%, definitely, that we see on screen of sentient species are. Jabba's the best example of someone that isn't. He's probably the least humanoid, but he still, has a head with 2 arms and then kind of a body. It's
right. You have a head and at least 2 extremities.
Yeah.
It seems like that seems to be the thing, and so really what defines it is your ability to prove your sentience, and that usually comes from either walking on 2s, or having 2 arms. So it's like closeness to looking like a human.
I think they do that though more as a way for humans like us, the audience humans, the real air quotes humans, to be able to identify with them. Like, I think for the majority of people, you can't really look at Jabba the Hutt and be like, yeah, I identify with that. You know what I mean? And I understand that on a level, but I think we've come to a point now where we can identify with non-humanoid looking things.
Right, but I think maybe we as an audience a lot of time will almost put them in the category of animals.
Yeah, I think that's where you run the risk, I think. Just on like first blush. You kind of have to give them more time to build up maybe than, because if you look at someone who's, and almost all other IPs do the same thing, like Guardians of the Galaxy, for example. Again, they're freaking blue. But they're just basically humans with a different color. They don't even try to mess with them really at all. Vulcans in Star Trek, they had pointy ears. Oh, I'm an alien now.
They put
I
on,
think that's them anyway.
They put on the little.
I don't really like Star Trek, so if that's wrong, sue me. I don't care.
But they just put on the glasses with the big nose. I'm an alien.
Yeah, exactly. What was that show with the Robin Williams? Nanu. Oh. Where he was like, you wear a goofy outfit and you're an alien, you just tell people he's an alien, but and
then you just talk weird.
Yeah, exactly. Say weird things like, oh, that guy, he's from outer space. Did you hear what he said?
Yeah, because think about how easy you could have classified Wookiees as creatures.
And that was, from the outset, it was basically Lucas's dog was his inspiration. So it wasn't a species or an alien at the onset. It became, I think, I don't know. This is me just making it up, but I would think that would, if I had written it, I would have been me making my dog what I wish he was. You know what I mean? Like I wish my dog would hang out with me and talk to me and stuff. So that's where I would have taken it if that would have been my inspiration.
If there weren't other Wookiees, I mean, I guess you could almost think of it as like, I don't know, Han being like, "What is it, Lassie? What is it, girl?" You know, just basically pretending like they're actually saying something.
True. But yeah, to that point, honestly, what we're talking about with the, the ability to speak, it's kind of like what Qui-Gon says, the ability to speak doesn't make you intelligent. So he's kind of contradicting what we're saying here. So he's saying even if you can speak, that doesn't make you intelligent. But I guess that doesn't mean you're not sentient.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean,
intelligence
like, think
is
about
a whole different measure.
How difficult would it be to have beings that just communicate telepathically?
It's cool, and that would work well, like via the written word.
Right. I mean,
but that would be hard to, like, you'd have to have them like look intently at each other and then subtitle it, and it would be really awkward.
Isn't that what Luke did in The Force Awakens?
Yeah, they just forgot the subtitles.
Exactly. He said so much.
Yeah. There was a hand too, ma'am.
Or you could just do, like, I mean, I guess on screen, you could just have someone, like, in an echoey voice, as if you're hearing it.
Oh, that would be off-putting.
I know.
Like, ugh.
I don't think you ever asked me what I wanted to see in a species, Brian.
Oh, did I not?
No.
Well, make up your own species there.
Now I want something that's speaking telepathically and can fly.
There you go. Oh,
we need more flying species.
Flying, yeah. Basically, you have bugs and Watto. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Would you make them like avian, or would you give them like leathery skin and bat wing type thing?
I like pterodactyl ideas.
Yeah,
I do.
Cool.
Something like that.
So would they like walk around like a pterodactyl does, kind of like gorilla-like with their hands down?
Maybe.
But
I also like
legs.
the idea of them walking around like a human, like in BD, and then all of a sudden they just take off.
Yeah. Would they have the wings like attached to their arms, or would they be separate?
I would say like attached to their arms, and like you just see someone at first that you don't realize that that's what they are, and then they just walk off the edge of a cliff, and then you see them just flying.
Pterodactyl person.
Yeah, like bird person.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Will you call me Bird Son?
No.
Your name is Thomas.
Oh, if you didn't watch that, that's going to be really dumb. But
oh, well.
What was it? Michael Keaton on The Late Show with...
Jimmy Fallon?
Yeah, look up
his
funny appearance on there.
It's good.
Talking about, what was the movie, Birdman?
If you haven't already figured out that Hyperspace Podblast is just full of inside jokes, even with ourselves, or... I mean, what are you really here for?
Yeah.
I guess Star Wars. I don't know.
The insightful discourse.
Insightful.
And be insightful. Speaking of inside jokes.
Oh man, I can't stop myself. Why do you think that there haven't been more prominent alien antagonists in main theatrical Star Wars stories?
I think it goes back to what we said about like how humans, as in human consumers of the IP, have trouble, or at least thought to have trouble, identifying with non-human heroes, or villains aren't as hard because you don't have to like the villain. It's not, you can make a non-human villain easier, I think, than you could hero.
Right, because I feel like someone who is a villain is someone you can't identify with.
Right, hopefully.
I mean.
Yeah. Honestly, though, like villains you can identify with are more powerful.
Those are usually also my favorite villains.
Right. But the other problem is, I mean, look how terribly some people are responding to the main character in Battlefront 2 being a woman. Yeah. She's a human woman, and people are like, I can't identify with that. Bro, really? Like,
you can
please crawl back under the rock from which you came from and do not emerge again. Like, so when you have examples like that, it's like, oh, why do we even bother? Like, throw some aliens at him. If this, piece of trash can't identify with the opposite gender of his own species, then
and
screw it.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but what's interesting is I feel like sometimes if you remove something so far from being a human, you are able to identify with it more, than something that's just slightly different.
That's like, close, but no cigar.
Yeah, like if you say if it were a a female alien, you know?
You think they would be like, well, it doesn't matter if it's a girl because it's an alien anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like I'm playing me as a girl. I'm
Right.
playing this alien.
I'm playing as an alien.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah, okay, I can make sense out of that actually.
maybe that helps to grow those people. I don't know.
Oh, that is wishful thinking.
Yeah. I don't know.
But no, I'm with you. I think that makes good sense though. The further you remove it, I mean, kind of like Wally.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's not humanoid in the way C-3PO and K2 are, right?
Right.
Like his head's not below his feet or something. Like, you know, he's not
Yeah.
completely turned upside down or whatever. But he doesn't look like a human. But people identify with him, and I mean R2 too. I mean, to keep it in Star Wars, R2, Chopper, BB-8. I mean, yeah, they have head, body, like some whatever they walk on. They're kind of built in the same really generic fashion, but I don't think you can call that humanoid, especially BB-8. He's freaking round. He doesn't even have feet. I mean, how can you identify with that? But we do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people do.
A lot of people do.
You do.
Yes.
Shell BB-8.
And, you know, I think it would be interesting, too, if you were to, say, drop a human in the middle of a bunch of aliens, instead of having it that there's this alien that's singled out in, you know, a universe of mostly humans. If you had a human in a universe of mostly aliens.
Yeah, right. Instead of being the sidekick role like it usually is, or, you know, just the background character, etc., is the alien. Maybe that's how you break people into the being able to identify. You put that. I mean, you said
put something familiar next to something not familiar.
Right, and you made the correlation to Avatar. Again, blue freaking aliens. What is with us?
It's just so many people, their favorite color is blue.
It's my favorite color, and I'm annoyed by it.
I think, well, both green and blue are big.
Well, yeah, green was like the default alien color for the longest time. I guess it's blue now.
Yeah.
We've transitioned.
It's because it's like, look, we're different.
Yeah, except everybody's different in the same way.
Yeah. Anyway. And red usually means bad. Or does it?
Yeah. Go back to the catalog and find out. Wow, good plug. Nice. Bonus points.
I know, I'm so good at this now.
But yeah, you know, because you're able to identify with, because they literally put the person in the alien, you know what I mean? Like, not figuratively. Like, that's the plot of the freaking movie. So maybe we could do something similar to that, except without the...
Do a Freaky Friday mind swap with a human and an alien? I'm sorry, wait, just...
it's bad.
It would be funny, though.
It's bad. It's very bad. It would be funny, yes, but that's not what I'm looking for.
Okay,
I know you're
I'm
not
being serious.
I know. But yeah, just the idea of, here, look, here's the you. We're gonna put you with all these strange things, and let's see what happens.
And here's the problem with that, though, is like, I feel like we see that sometimes, maybe not in Star Wars, but in other movies, and what ends up happening is that human is still the main character.
Right, yeah, exactly. And I don't want that. I want the human to be the sidekick.
Yeah,
I want the human to be the
They
Chewie.
don't show up as the first person that you see on screen. That they're exactly. Make them Chewie. They don't talk very much.
Right.
Or, you know, even put them in some different language that's not English.
Make them be the one that speaks Huttese all the time, or, you know, some other made-up language. And have the alien people speaking.
Something you can understand.
Not be blue. I don't care what they are. Bright freaking pink. I don't even care. Just not blue.
I love pink.
That'd be cool, actually.
Princess Bubblegum is actually an alien.
There you go.
Alien.
Yeah, it's basically your unmistakably Star Wars story coming to life.
Yes. Oh, that'd be so awesome.
Yeah, an escape pod that's been jettisoned from some abandoned vessel crashes on Ooh, and this human comes out. Actually, to think about it, Adventure Time is kind of like that, because Finn is the only human, but everything else is like super humanoid.
Oh yeah.
Even the dog.
There's so many parallels between...
Even the dog is humanoid.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So what do you think...
Segue!
So, what do you think you can interpret about Star Wars characters based on their interactions with aliens in Star Wars?
Star Wars and Star Wars. Star Wars. StarWars.com. Star Wars. Star Wars. Every day is Star Wars. Star Wars. Star Wars.
Star Wars 100 years.
Yeah, well, I think this gets into the prompt here was to talk about the Empire and how they've gotten away from the original sort of, the Empire was based off of the Nazis. I mean, they even call their troopers stormtroopers like the Nazis did. They're very fascist-esque like the Nazis were. And I think they don't really ever say it outright in the movies, but they're all old white guys like the Nazis were. You know what I mean? So there's implied racism there. And nowadays we've gotten away from that, as we should, obviously, The Empire has even opened itself up to different genders, different races, and different sexual orientations. But I think what they're doing, this is especially true with the Thrawn novel, they're transitioning that bias to be pushed toward aliens, which it was before as well. And I mean, it's, again, never on film stated. This is all EU stuff is where you get this from. But they do in A New Hope when they're, trying to do the whole switcheroo fake with Chewie, the one officer, is where are you taking this thing? He doesn't even acknowledge that it's this alien, this person. I mean, I don't know if you would call it, but it's a thing. It's not even basically like a walking carpet, which, I mean, they kind of joke about. Even the good guys kind of throw some nasty things toward Chewie sometimes, but still, I think the Empire they're using the Empire's biases more toward aliens, their prejudices and whatnot, instead of toward races and genders and stuff like they did sort of originally. Like I said, not in so many words, but
right. But, I also feel like you can't create this perfect world of not being biased, because then there wouldn't be Star Wars, because then everyone would be nice to everyone. And
well, yeah, right. We're not going to you don't want the Empire to be all holding hands and singing Kumbaya. That's not the story. I like that they're opening up and making it more reflective of, the current world.
Well, and also, it's not like every single person in the Empire hates aliens. There are some that are like that and some who are not.
And that just shows the scale of the Empire, and it's sort of the same principle as what, was built off of with the Nazis. Not everybody that was part of that could possibly be, as into it or hold those same beliefs, but it's one of those things where at some point your options are you're in and you're, living and
oppressing these people.
Yeah.
Well, or aliens.
Yeah. Or you're out and you become one of those things, and your life's in the toss pot.
Yeah.
And it's easy to say from the outside, well, of course I would pick but that's,
It really isn't that simple.
No, and that's taking into account your current upbringing and, not having been brought up over there, and it's hard.
Well, I mean, if you're thinking about that, then you're thinking about characters, say, where they grew up. Say they grew up in Wild Space.
Right, like your boy Eli. Yeah, if you haven't read Thrawn, it's really good.
I'm only halfway through, but
yeah, but you like it, yeah?
I really do. I really like it.
This is Shelby's first Star Wars outside the films endeavor. Well, aside from Rebels, we did start watching Rebels.
Yes. So maybe I'll start doing like a Twitter poll, and whatever wins is what I read next.
That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah.
Cool.
You all decide what I get to read. I'm at your mercy. Oh, that makes it really sound sad on my part. Like, oh, she reads. She did it. Good for her. Yeah. She gets her personal pan pizza from
There
Pizza
you go.
Hut.
Yeah, Book It Club.
I mean, I would totally still do Book It.
Do they have that, I wonder?
I don't know. So think about what it says about certain characters, who maybe are biased against aliens.
Well, yeah, I mean, it gives
and then,
you like
and then they have a change of heart, or they see them as people later on, or also how they treat droids.
Yeah, it gives you like an instant characterization,
What kind of person are you? It's like, how someone says, like, I can tell what kind of person you are by how you treat your waitress. Or like how if you put your cart back at the grocery store.
Yeah, or how you react to a dog.
Mm-hmm.
If you see a dog and you're like, oh, it's gonna bite me, like,
yeah,
I
instantly don't like you.
Yeah, exactly. If you see a dog, you're like, want to pet puppy?
Oh, pupper.
Yeah,
is small pupper.
Yeah, then we can be friends.
Yes.
So yeah, similar lines.
So yeah, exactly. How you treat an alien.
It gives you instant
insight to what kind
characterization, basically.
Yes, exactly.
Right on.
But I think we're about out of time to keep it Podblasty. Leave us a review in iTunes. That's what gets other people listening to the podcast. Hit us up on Twitter. We'll respond. Yeah, we will.
Yeah, we do. Pretty much all the time.
Or shoot us an email at hyperspacepodblast@gmail.com. Our Twitter is hyperspace_pod. If you want to be on the show, let us know if there's a specific topic you want to talk about, or just tell us what topic you want to hear.
If you want to be the weekly person that corrects all our mistakes, let us know.
Yes.
Actually, just do that. Don't let us know. Yeah.
And then RFFF should have our new episode out soon. We're still doing that. Still taking interviews always and forever.
Until next time, my friends.
See ya.
Bye.